Welcome back to the Real AF TV podcast, the show about fishing random takes from land 10,000 lakes. We are in the random take part, Tim, and we're going to talk about the crazy shit the internet fed us today.
Yeah.
Not today. I mean, that's what we're going to talk about today, but we're just going to talk about crazy shit the internet fed us. We were talking about fishing, and that is always what the first half is. In case you are listening to this on Friday, when we drop the random take on our off week. In case you didn't know, the podcast comes out every other Monday. And on our off week, we drop the fishing topic on Wednesday and we drop the random take on Friday. And then the next Monday, bam, new podcast. So if you don't like listening to us as a whole, it's broken up for you over there on youtube.com.
Yep.
Look us up.
Look it up.
So, Tim, we were
Yes.
talking about fishing, and
Yes.
I had this crazy shit brought to me from the Meat Eater channel, which I mentioned in the first one because we were talking about carp, and they have this. And I'm going to put a link to this specific video that I'm going to reference in the YouTube comments. So look us up on YouTube, subscribe, and all that shit, and find the link because we were talking about carp. They have this new series on the Meat Eater channel, and it's called Pardon My Plate. And they had carp on there. So they're eating things that Americans don't normally eat, but why wouldn't you sort of situation.
Sure.
So I'm watching the carp one, of course, because I'm very interested in it. And as you will find, you could hear in the first podcast or in the first half. And then coyote comes up. These motherfuckers are eating coyote. Yeah. So first of all, before we really get into it, before we get into my crazy thing, I just want to know how you feel about that. Like eating coyote.
I'd do it. Yeah, I would do it for sure.
Yeah, I would totally do it. It's freaky to see. Like I've seen a dressed coyote before on Bizarre Foods.
Yeah.
The show with Andrew Zimmer.
Ouch. Yeah.
Fellow Minnesotan now. Yeah, it's wild to see. But on that episode of the Meat Eater show called Pardon My Plate.
Yep.
He says coyotes are despised by Americans. And he goes into like things that kill humans, right? And he says 2 humans have ever been killed by coyotes in modern history. That is far less than the 20,000 humans that are killed per year by snails.
By snails. I honestly would have been like, what is the number? 0 of being killed by coyotes? They're not very big
2
dogs.
2 people in modern history, dude. It's like it was like an 81 and like 2018 are the only 2 records that have ever been shown to kill.
Like just real recent.
Mm-hmm.
Just
like a few years ago,
not
like
back in the day when there was like a giant pack of dogs and they had like they couldn't reload their musket fast enough. They're like modern day with all the technology we have. They're just like couldn't get away from those small wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they're like they can be vicious and stuff, but it's still like
sure.
That's why
the fact that it's been 2 people recently, right? It just blows your mind. You're like, okay, so 81 and 2018. Holy shit.
Yeah, what 2018? I'm sure there were more.
I'm not 100% on the 2018 number. Like I didn't write that down, but it's like really that's recent.
That's still insane though. But snails. I knew that snails killed people.
Really?
Because I've heard the stories before of where they like a kid will like bet another kid. Like, I dare you to pick up that snail, and then the kid will be like, whatever. And then like let it crawl on their arms or whatever, and that kid dies.
What?
Because the snail just crawls on you or whatever. Yeah, whatever
it is.
I don't know if it's like a toxin or if it's a bacteria or what, but yeah, that's how people die from snails is because there's certain ones that like, yeah, that was a toxic snail that you had crawl on you.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't. It's not
Okay,
like the.
I looked
It's
this up. I did some extra research because I was like, bullshit. But these guys do their research. They
yeah,
have a whole network. Like the Meat Eater is a whole network.
yeah,
They have to be built on truth. They have to have done their research. And so I did research, and I found out, oh yeah, those guys are looking at WHO data, the World Health Organization data, because
yeah,
basically the World Health Organization says um, we need to do some work on that number because we said it was like 200,000. That was extrapolated data. So it's anywhere from 20,000 to 200,000. So Meat Eater saw that and said, like, snails kill up to 20,000 people per year. Um, and so again, the WHO was just admittedly like, hey, we need to do more research into this, but like, hey, we can tell you for sure that, like, 20,000.
yeah,
We extrapolated the data. Oops, let's do more research on it. So that's where they got their number from. And so I was just like, holy shit, this is wild. Now,
yeah,
I've never heard of I did a little bit of research, but I didn't hear what you just brought up. It's like, wait a minute. That's a thing?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard. I can't remember where I heard it from, but yeah,
The internet.
it was like a tale of where some kid bet the other kid to like pick up the snail, and then that
Mm-hmm.
kid was like, "Hey, yeah, look, it's like crawling on my arm," and then that kid died because don't
What the
let the
fuck,
fucking
dude?
snail crawl on your
Because
arm.
don't let
So.
the fucking snail crawl on you. Which has to be rare, I would think. I don't know, but I don't know for sure because
I don't know
it
how all
depends
those
on where the
20.
snail was and all
Yeah,
that stuff. But like escargot,
right,
unless it would cook off, unless it is bacteria, like you said, bacteria is usually easily cooked off. But that's fucking wild, man. I didn't hear
right.
any of that, but I totally believe it because I did I did do some research, and CBS News is where I finally like I looked around because of course you Google like how many people die and you get all these people just talking too much
Yeah,
around the internet. So you have
yeah.
to find a real like news source. And I found a news source that said freshwater snails 4,400 people a year. 4,400 people a year. Freshwater snails take them down because of a parasite.
Yeah,
So it's
see,
not
that's what I was.
necessarily yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like a parasite, or like that's why I don't know if it's a parasite or a toxin or whatever, but that's got to be
Mhm.
what it is because I don't think eating it counts. Because if you
Right.
ate it and it wasn't cooked properly, that's not the snail killing you. That's food poisoning is then the culprit. So this is
Ah.
literally people dying
Mhm.
from the
From
snails
the snail.
being on them themselves.
Right, right. And actually not even being on them necessarily. This is the crazy shit that I saw is the transmit the parasite called oh shit. I didn't look this up. And I even said when I was doing this research, I'm like, I'm not gonna look this fucker up. This is a weird word. Ah, I'm just gonna spell it. SCHISTOSOMIASIS.
Jesus, give it your best shot.
Schistosomyiasis.
Is that in the doc?
Yes. Yes, it's
I
in the
gotta
doc,
see.
all the way at
I
the
got
bottom.
I gotta try
So
it.
this parasite is called schistosomiasis, and it leaches into the water. So these are freshwater snails. So I'm just saying to your story, if it was a snail by the water, it probably has schistomyosis. And I want you to try once you get the doc open. But it says that leaches into the water. You don't even have to touch the snail. Now, I'm not like saying anything other than what the article said, but is not in North America. It does not appear to be in South America. This seems to be Africa and Asia parasite. So don't just go like freaking out over every
Right.
snail you see.
Yep, and that's one thing
Here
that
to our North American listeners.
yeah,
Don't just
that's
don't go tripping out, right?
that's one
Okay.
thing I heard too is like it's not the death that I heard about was not in our general area. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it
Mhm.
wasn't like anything us in the middle of the country had to worry about.
Right, right, exactly. And that's the back to the first half of when we were talking about carp and stuff like that is like this is how invasive species can become even more of a problem, right? Now, for all we know, this parasite can't live in our climate. I didn't research the damn thing because the story is about snails kill more humans than coyotes. Why would anybody think that this tiny wolf would be less deadly than a snail? That blew my
Yeah,
fucking
because
mind, dude.
it's still they're pack animals. Like you'd think that definitely
They can
coyotes
be pack
could
animals.
get.
They're not necessarily pack animals.
Oh, sure, but like I'm saying,
I know what you mean, though.
like if they're gonna kill somebody, that's how they're
Right.
gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not gonna be a one-on-one because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I remember back in the day that there was a couple of times we were out and about and people at parties or whatever, we'd be out in like the woods or a cornfield or whatever, but somebody
Mm-hmm.
tried to scare you. Oh, there's a coyote coming! Like, I kick the shit out of that little
I'll
dog.
kick the fuck out of that little dog.
I'm
Yeah,
not
for sure.
nervous about it. Like, what's he gonna do?
No.
Bite me? I kick him.
As long as
It's
that
not
thing
gonna
ain't
feel.
foaming at the mouth, I'm
Yeah,
booting that thing right in the schnoz.
yeah. It's not gonna feel good if I get bit,
Nope.
but
Nope.
it's not. It's gonna.
But it's not surviving either.
That dog is gonna walk away way worse than I am. I guarantee you that. As long as he doesn't get my neck, he's fucking dead.
Yep.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna stomp that little fucker. You here? Ready? I think I got it.
Okay,
Uh,
so are you going? Are you going on? And you promise you didn't Google this shit to look it up?
How you say it?
Yeah.
Nope, nope.
Okay.
So I think it's schistoso. I can't. That was schistosomiasis.
Yep.
That's
That's way
how I'm
better.
gonna say it.
Yep.
Schistosomiasis.
And that's the parasite that is killing humans. That is causing snails to kill humans.
Yep. And it's killed enough of them that pretty soon there's going to be an infomercial at 2 o'clock in the morning. Have you or a loved one been affected by schistosomiasis? Just like call this number.
Call this number now.
You may be entitled to a large lump sum or whatever they say on that shit.
We're suing the pants off those snails.
Yeah, those snails are gonna get it.
So before we switch over to what you said, I want to point out one thing is you just Google. So of course, you it was like our last episode where I was like, so I Googled fishing rod and
Right.
I'm trying to buy a new fishing rod. I Google
What
two
happened?
words fishing rod. So I Google human dead snail, basically. Humans killed by snails, right? Like that's what
Yeah.
and you get a Nat Geo article or I get a Nat Geo video and it's basically it's one of those like over the top dramatic ones. I'm not shitting on Nat Geo because I watch a lot of Nat Geo. I think they do some good programming. I
Yeah.
also think that about history, but I also think they do a lot of shitty stuff, like fucking
Right. They do.
alien, fucking ancient aliens. Get out of here, you
You're
fucking
right.
assholes. So you get this Nat Geo video and one of those over dramatic videos, and it's like the cone snail from Southeast Asia is a water snail. And it eats fish because it's venomous. Fucking huge music, right?
Right.
And you're like, come on, Nat Geo, Jesus Christ. I remember watching videos of lions fucking, and that was it. And they were like, so now the lions mate. And then there's like 3 minutes of silence other than
Yeah. Just
lions
the
humping.
the line. It's like lion groans. You're just like, oh man, they're getting it. But yeah, now they have like all the music and trying to make it amped up and stuff.
Yeah, and you get the cone snail from Southeast Asia, and it's venomous. its venom is venomous enough to kill a human. And you
Okay.
keep so I'm like, "Cool, cone snails. Cone snails are killing." So I start researching cone snails. Cone snails killing humans. And I keep getting the same fucking video fed to me.
same,
And it
same
turns
over and
out
over.
cone snails aren't killing humans.
They're just
They're
like they
just killing
can.
fish,
They could if they wanted to, but they don't. But it's
but they're
like,
not, right?
but what if?
Exactly, dude. Exactly. And then you start doing research and you realize it's a parasite that lives on these snails, that lives on freshwater snails. That's
Right.
what's killing humans.
Yep.
Fuck.
Damn it.
Now I know my sources don't match the 20,000 and the 440 or the 4,400 as far as people, but still, like, that's still a lot, dude. You can prove 2 people have died in modern history from coyotes, and I found
Yeah,
thousands
because
of
we
people
weren't
dying from
wrong.
snails.
We weren't wrong. You stomped the shit out of one of those little fuckers.
Yeah. Have you ever seen if you've never seen a coyote in real life, you charge that thing.
Yeah, they're
Don't be
like
afraid.
they are slightly bigger than a fox. Like there's not much difference. And
They're
they're
little black
scared.
labs, little yellow lab. A little yellow lab is
Yeah.
the same size as a coyote.
Smaller even almost
Oh,
most
yeah.
of the time. They have like a
Yeah.
more slender body. And
Yeah,
they
'cause they're
seem to be
skinny.
like
Mhm,
scared too easy.
mhm,
They just kind
mhm.
of
Yeah,
make
they
like
are pretty
weird
skittish.
noises
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
and they just run away and you're like, "All right, later."
Yeah, yeah, I mean, they tell you to they tell you be as big as you can and make as much noise as you can if you see a bear.
Yeah. Well, black bear.
Y
Make sure
Black
people
bears,
know
right.
yeah, make sure people know which ones. Don't do that shit to a
My bad.
grizzly.
Yeah, don't take on a polar bear. Polar bears actually hunt and eat humans, so
Oh yeah,
don't
polar
fuck
bear
with
will
them.
yeah, polar bear, you got nothing. There's nothing you can do. Polar
You're
bear are
fucked.
massive and you are fucked if you run into one of those. Grizzlies, you don't have much of a chance either. You gotta play dead with a
Nope.
grizzly. But a black
It
bear,
might leave
get
you alone.
big. Black bear is like black bears. Just Google black bear and human encounters on YouTube. I see funny stuff where like a guy's sleeping by his pool and a black bear comes over and like wakes him up. And he's kind of just curious. He's like, "What's going on here?" And like sniffs the dude's like foot and actually
What
like
the
puts his
fuck?
paw up and like touches the guy's foot. The guy wakes up and he's like, "Oh, a bear!" And the bear's like, "Oh fuck, he's alive!" And like runs away.
And runs
both
away.
of
Like,
them,
"Oh, shit."
both of them are like, "Oh Jesus." They scare each other. It's awesome. You don't have to worry about black bear too much. I mean, it's like they can still hurt you,
Oh,
but a
yeah.
black
Stick it
bear
out.
is not something you have to worry about most of the time. If it has cubs, that's a different situation. But before we go off on
Definitely.
too much of a rant, let's just
I'm
act like you're big with the black bear, grizzly bear, or play dead, but do your best to avoid bear encounters.
Yes, yes, exactly. So that was my wild thing. I'm guessing the crazy shit that the internet taught you is not black bears walk up to you while you're sleeping by the pool.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Okay, okay.
So I got a couple of things just kind of randomly because I was like, I don't know how long we're gonna be able to go on some of this stuff. So, but I was trying to keep it with the fish a little bit.
Yeah, nice.
And did you know that the majority of fish that is sold in supermarkets, and I can't say that it's around here. I don't know where the sample size is. I think they're talking about the majority of the world
Okay,
here.
okay.
But
Mhm.
most of it is mislabeled. The majority of it
What?
is you're not getting
No.
what you're trying to buy.
No.
Yeah, it says that
Don't
the
you fucking
salmon
tell me that, dude.
that salmon is probably not salmon, which
It's
salmon
probably
is easy to
steelhead.
tell. Not well, salmon, steelhead is salmon. That's just a
Is
different
it?
kind of salmon.
I thought steelhead trout. Isn't it steelhead
Oh no,
trout?
wait, you're right. Steelhead trout, salmon, I forget.
Yeah.
It
I have
doesn't matter.
steelhead trout and salmon.
But
This is
salmon.
literally a topic. Sorry, I'm taking away
Oh
from your thunder. My bad.
no, no, it's
Please
okay.
keep going.
Salmon, but salmon is kind of easier to tell. And like the farm salmon, they actually have to like dye the color because it doesn't change the
Oh
right
yeah,
color and stuff because
I think
of
you
their
said that
diet. It's
very
like,
very
yeah,
earlier.
it's like a flamingo. Like the natural ones, their diet is what causes the meat to be that color. But check this out. So researchers estimate that about 1/3 of all fish sold in restaurants and grocery stores is
Oh,
mislabeled,
what the
often to
fuck,
deliberately
dude?
mislead consumers and get them to buy more expensive fish, getting tilapia while paying red snapper prices. Snapper
What?
was found to be mislabeled 87% of the time. Tuna was
Oh,
mislabeled 59% of the time.
what?
It says it's far too common to be for this
Oh
occurrence
my
to be a
god,
fluke. But
it's not a fluke.
87% of the time.
What the
Red
fuck?
snapper is almost never red snapper.
What?
That's why you should try to buy it, the whole fish, like from a seafood market, because then you know,
Yeah, dude, with the
like I can
head
see
on.
it. Yeah, I can see that
Yeah.
that's the fish I want. Or
Oh
just go catch it
god.
yourself.
Or yeah, right, right. If you have the ability to go catch it, just fucking go catch it
Yeah.
for sure. Because
Salmon, I
that,
don't think, yeah,
dude.
salmon, I don't think you could fuck with me on because I eat enough of it. There's, I mean, there's not other fish that taste like salmon. And if there are,
Hmm.
let me know because salmon's
Yeah,
awesome and
hit us
it
up.
just
Let us
doesn't.
know what else tastes
Yeah,
like
it
salmon
just
because
doesn't
salmon's
like
fucking dope.
if you could give me something that's tastes like salmon and I don't know the difference, I don't even give a shit. Whatever. Why are you calling it salmon still? Call it whatever the fuck that other thing is and let me know how cool it is. Like I'm down. I'm down for that.
I can't believe it's that high. Like you
Dude,
said
yeah.
tuna, you said tuna at over 50%. And that blew
Yeah.
my fucking mind. To say 80 some, I would have guessed 50 some percent was the highest.
Tuna like makes sense to me though,
80.
even like with it mislabeled or whatever. Like if you're talking like actual tuna fillets, that would be a little bit harder to pull off. But like if you're talking
Yeah,
like
they got to
canned
be talking
tuna,
about the
like
white tuna, right?
yeah, or like the canned tuna, like whatever. They're
Yeah,
like
who
that's
gives a
not really
shit? I'd
tuna.
find white flesh like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
don't
that's
give a
like the
fuck.
seafood. That's like the Subway thing. People are like, you know that their seafood sub isn't really tuna. Like, I don't give a fuck. It tastes good.
Yeah, tastes like
Like yeah,
fucking tuna.
I
Like
don't.
tastes like the canned tuna and
Yeah,
tuna.
does
Fine, put it
yeah
in quotes.
right
I don't give a shit.
right.
Tastes like
And
fish.
now reading this, was it even Subway's fault? Did they were they buying what they thought was tuna the whole time?
Right.
They're
Good
like,
fucking point, dude.
we
Holy
did a
shit.
study. Yeah, we did a study, and it turned out it wasn't all tuna. And Subway's like, are you shitting me? Really? And
Their
then they
buyer
can't.
is just blown away.
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck?
yeah,
That's not what my guy told me.
and then they're like, what do we do here? Well, we can't put out a thing that says like, listen, guys, we just don't know what the fuck we're buying. We're looking into the rest of our meats and hoping
And
that we're
hopefully
getting,
that's ham.
yeah, hopefully,
Maybe
hopefully
it's
for,
coyote.
yeah, hopefully for all you Muslims out there, our turkey isn't made of ham. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
But so I got
Damn, dude, that's fucking crazy. I just
yeah.
that does blow my fucking mind. That is a good one. I had no idea that this was happening.
I don't
I
buy
knew
a
that
whole
there I
lot
like so
of
I knew it was happening with caviar. I should say that. I've
okay.
heard stories about it happening with caviar, which to bring it back to the carp in the first episode is like I was just like, hey, if you guys are where's the fucking caviar market for the carp? I don't know what their eggs taste like, but maybe it's a thing. Um, because it hasn't done the sturgeon any good. And I was aware because of like when something gets so elite like caviar, it has a high level of what is it called when you print money? When you print fake money? It's not plagiarism. Counterfeit.
Counterfeit.
Counterfeiting. So there's a lot of counterfeiting that goes on. It happens in wines a lot and it happens in caviar a lot. I knew that. So
Sure.
to hear that it's happening with the flesh, though, man, fuck,
Yeah.
that blows my mind.
But I suppose like they're just like nobody, most of these people, these uppity
Mm-hmm.
yuppies that can afford red snapper don't even know what they're eating. They're all laughing, but, just sharpening their knives. Uh, red snapper today is not red snapper.
It's not red snapper. What the fuck, dude? Did it? Did the article have any indication of what it is that they're purposely putting down? Like, because I say purposely because you already said they're not doing this on purpose. 87%. That's not an accident anymore.
No, no.
That's not
Mm-mm.
an accident. So what are they
Uh-uh.
putting down? What are they selling people instead? I mean, it's still fish.
Well, that's like tilapia is pretty good fish still, but it's a lot
Yeah,
cheaper
tilapia is
than
awesome.
red snapper. So that's what you're getting. Is you're just
Mm,
getting a good quality, cheaper fish, one that's more abundant, and people aren't really catching the
okay.
difference because they're still getting a good quality fish where they're like, that's pretty good. You're like, yeah.
Right.
See, the thing is, you could have got the cheaper fish and still been content, but you paid extra money
Uh-huh.
for the nice fish, which I'm not trying to put it down. Like if
Yeah.
you got the money to do so, like go get the grouper, man. Grouper's
Right.
dope. But yeah, it's or flounder, all that stuff. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it didn't go into all the different fish. All it did was talk about those two specific
Yeah.
fish. But it's like
Well, because
that's
they're
still
huge.
insane. Right. Yeah, because those are
Wow.
big selling ones.
So that's what it
But
was. Like they're putting down tilapia instead of red
yep,
snapper,
yep, they're
which
saying
often could be
tilapia.
found right next to each other.
Right, right.
It's fucked
And
up.
a lot of fish are pretty hard to tell the difference when you're looking at them.
The
That's
white
why,
flesh
like,
fish.
yep, yep, and that's why, like, the Minnesota DNR actually says when you have your fish in your freezer, like in a pack, you're supposed to keep the skin on one of the
Mm-hmm.
fillets, like keep a chunk of skin,
Yep.
so they can
Or the
identify what
tail,
kind of
right?
fish it is. Yeah, like just whatever, something there. But like the skin is
Mm,
what they talk about just because that's like,
mm,
the tail's a
mm-hmm.
little bit different. That's like
Okay.
the having the skin on, and that
Mm-hmm.
chunk is easy to fillet off before you cook it. So
Oh,
that's what they
right. Okay.
suggest a lot, where you just got to cut that like 1 inch square
Keep
patch
them.
off there real
Yeah.
quick, just and then you're good to cook it.
Right.
But
And that's why. Okay. You keep it in. Yep. So when you have them, when you have something that you pulled fresh out of the lake, say here in Minnesota, you keep a like a 1 inch square of. You don't even scale it then, right? Because you know what I
no,
mean by
mm-mm.
scaling. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You
yep,
keep it on fresh as a daisy, fresh as it
yep,
was pulled out of
yep.
the water. Okay,
Yep. Well, and you just fillet it like you normally would, but then you just leave a chunk of skin.
sure,
But
sure.
we don't really bulk keep a lot of fish anyways too much, so we
Yeah,
don't really do that because we're basically catching them and then filleting them and then eating them and then
and eating them.
that's it.
Mm-hmm. It's like a one to
So,
one.
but I got
Okay,
two more
yeah. Let's hit
crazy
them, dude.
ones for you. This one we won't stick on it very long, but I just came across it and it was crazy. The first person to ever be charged with a speeding ticket in their vehicle.
Oh my god, hold on. Let me just absorb this already because as a history buff nerd guy, as you may have already caught from our past episodes, I am anticipating something sweet right now. So hit me with it.
Well, let me preface it by this. This maniac was going 4 times the legal speed limit. This
Four times the
reckless
legal speed limit.
4 times
If you take
the legal
50
speed limit.
times 4, that's 100 miles an hour. He could have been doing up to
Did,
100 miles an hour in a
did you say
50-mile an
50?
hour. Oh
You say
yeah.
50 times?
I usually let computers do the numbers for me. Thank you for saving me on that one. So In Wisconsin, residential areas are restricted to 25 miles an hour, if I remember my times in Wisconsin. So, yes, he could have been doing 100 miles an hour in a residential area
He could have been, but this
because 25 times 4 is
asshole
100.
in a residential area got busted going 8 miles an hour. This dick.
That's what I was hoping.
He was going 8 miles an hour. Walter Arnold
That son of a
was
bitch. He's
in
so reckless.
in 1896 was busted going 8 miles an hour in his Benz.
Yes.
And the
It
legal
was a
limit was
Benz.
2 miles an hour. And they said that the officer had to, actually, they said the constable had to chase him down on his bicycle. Chase him down. He's going 8
He's
miles an
doing
hour.
8.
To put this into perspective for everyone out there, Usain Bolt topped out at 27 miles an hour.
Chase him down on this bicycle. What is
Do you
bicycle made of?
guys know
Fucking
that
lead?
nowadays double the speed limit can get you serious jail time and be potentially charged for you with attempted suicide for the driver and attempted homicide for the passengers? And Usain Bolt shattered the speed limit by like 23 times over. He is 23 times faster than the speed limit. If Usain Bolt would have ran down the street back then, they would have just been like, lock him up. He's trying to kill himself. Just for running as fast as he can. That fucking guy's gonna die.
He's gonna die. He's gonna turn to dust. He will explode at that speed.
He is so goddamn fast that everyone on that street was in danger from him running. This attempted murder for like 30 onlookers.
The onlookers were in danger from this man running at top speed.
That's a high speed chase back in the day. Just one fast Jamaican being chased by a bunch of guys on bicycles. then I just picture Seth Rogen's character in Superbad. It's just like, that's the fastest kid alive. That's the fastest kid alive.
Just hunched over.
All right, so I got one more for you.
Do you know what country that was in? I'm really curious.
That
It had to be Germany,
England,
or did it?
It was the English village of Paddock Wood, Kent.
Yeah, is it still
says
around?
Paddock. It says Paddock Wood, Kent. I don't know if Kent is like the state or the what the hell do they have over there?
I only thought that they had fuck man, I don't know. If you're in Britain and you're listening, please hit us up because I really want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I really thought that they only had the what I thought were called territories or the kingdoms.
Yeah, I don't know,
like,
man.
London is a city inside of England, I thought. And England was a kingdom of the United Kingdoms.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And then they have districts inside that? I don't know. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much works. I don't know what Mexico has. I barely know what Canada has. I'm not very worldly as far as like what they call what they have in other places. I'm like, yeah,
right,
we got
you're
states.
Aware of the country, but like when it comes to splitting up, is like, oh yeah, shit, that's weird.
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, we have tons of splits in the United States.
Yeah. Right.
It gets super weird.
Yep. And I know that.
I bet you could think of 10 different governments that you live under.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like it's the state, and then it's your county, and then like it's
Yeah,
like, do
like
they
there's the
have that
feds, and then
shit
there's the
other
state, and
places?
then there's the county, and then there's the city, and then there's the districts. And
Right,
so I
and
was
it's like,
exaggerating when I said 10, but
yeah, it's like, does any of that stuff happen anyplace else? And we're
right.
just like, they're just like, no. It's like, there's our country, and then we got cities, and that's it. They're
Right.
just like,
You're like, oh,
fair
rad.
enough. Right, right.
All right, man. Do you want to do one more still?
I got one more because I thought this was crazy. Because I'm always astonished by when stuff happens that's like relatively recent.
Yeah.
Because because of the technology we have these days and everything, you're just like,
Hmm.
what? It always catches me off guard when you hear about this stuff. But
Yeah.
the world's smallest reptile was discovered in January of this year.
No way.
Yes.
Fuck yes, dude.
And
January
that's sweet.
2021, they
Yeah.
discovered the smallest reptile in the world.
Yep.
What Amazon basin was this thing found in?
It was in northern Madagascar.
Oh, it
And
was Madagascar. Of course it was
yeah,
fucking Madagascar. That
and
place is
it's a
sick.
tiny chameleon that measures 28.9 millimeters. And it,
Millimeters?
yep, and is believed to be the smallest reptile on Earth.
Oh my god.
I should say, I
So
didn't
what, a
look. What's
28.9
millimeters to?
millimeters? That's like the size of a fingernail? An average fingernail?
Um,
Like, are you kidding
it's
me?
one millimeter is 0.0394 inches.
Yeah,
So
it's so small. It's just millimeters are ridiculously tiny. I mean, there's other measurements that are small, but this is like human eye measurements that we're talking about when it comes down to it.
yeah, no, I'm just
Because, like, once you get past a millimeter, you're getting into territory where it is a little bit difficult for a human to comprehend. Like, the physical world starts to sort of fade away.
right,
That sounds like an exaggeration, but dude, hold something that's a millimeter one time.
right.
Find
So
find a millimeter and just
I
look at
just,
it, and you're just gonna be like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ,
right.
that's so
And
fucking small.
and to help everybody here in America, I just did the googling. I should have done it earlier, but I wasn't thinking about it. A an inch is 25.4 millimeters, and this thing is, what did I have it? 28.9 millimeters. So it's just barely over an inch. And
Oh,
this is a
I'm
reptile with
surprised.
a
I thought it was
tail.
under.
This is a reptile with a
Oh,
tail, though.
right. Don't forget, it has a tail.
Yes. And it's just over an inch, which is like
So
from the end of your pointer finger to that first knuckle.
yeah, so when it's standing, I bet you it fits on your fingernail. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
4 feet, it can stand on your fingernail.
Yep. Its feet would be on your fingernail for sure.
That
And
is
then it has that
fucking
tall.
wild, dude.
Yep. You want to know something crazier?
Okay.
The genitalia of the males measures almost 20% of its body length. He's little, but he got a big old dick. Just they say but there's one thing about these critters that's big for its size. They got a big old dick.
They got huge dicks.
That's one thing I did do math on. I'm 6'2", and if I would have had one that was 20% of my size, I'd be looking at almost a 15-incher, man. That's like, good on you, little chameleon. That's that's a big old hog.
That's ridiculous. I wonder if it like props itself up on its boner.
Yeah,
Cock
right.
push-ups. Yeah, one's all you need.
It's just like, that thing have two tails.
Oh my god, that's crazy, dude. They found that in northern Madagascar?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is wild as shit,
It's
dude.
yep, northern Madagascar. And the itty bitty
Wow.
chameleon was
Does it
recently
change colors
discovered and
like other
reported in
chameleons?
January 21 issue of
Did it say that?
Scientific Reports. I did not look at the actual
They
scientific
may not
report,
know.
but I bet it does.
I mean,
It's
you would
probably
think
why.
that to be a chameleon, you would think it would be categorized as something else if it didn't change colors. I don't know enough about the chameleon family, but
Yeah, I
um,
don't know.
you would think.
Yeah, because um it didn't like give it a actual title or anything. Like maybe it's too new.
Oh, oh, like they're still doing more research on it, but they're just like, hey, by the way, we found this thing. Check it out. Like you just see
Right.
the scientists like running out of the woods. Like somebody publish this quick. This is
Right.
crazy. I can't believe it. You guys are never gonna believe what we saw. Look at its huge dick.
Yep. Yep. Oh, it's called uh now
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a
Uh-oh. Internet thing.
Brookisia nana. It's two words. A Brookisia nana.
Oh, okay.
And
Rickesia
it
nana.
says its body is only 13.5 millimeters long.
Ah,
So it's
see?
like half an inch. The
Yeah.
body's half an inch. So it's half of it is tail.
Sh- Holy shit.
That's
That's
nuts.
crazy, dude. That is
Oh,
just
I suppose
crazy.
that's not just the tail, that's the tail and the head. Oh,
Oh, okay. It's talking about just its body. Sure.
okay. I don't know if
Wow.
this will show. I'll try to zoom in a little bit.
All right. Patreon people at your
If
$1
you're
level.
watching,
If
that's
you're
it,
watching
standing on a matchstick.
on a match. If you go over to patreon.com/realaftv, real with the double E in the middle, you will see this fucking thing. Otherwise, you're going to have to Google it because this has been the Real AF TV podcast. The
Yeah.
show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. Fucking hey, Tim. This was a fun episode. It was goofy. It was a little different. It wasn't our usual, but I liked it. You set us up a while ago for the random take. I think you had a general idea of what this is. I think this was our general conception. Your idea could still come to fruition in a different way, but this was fun.
Yeah, dude. I enjoy talking about weird shit.
Yeah.
And I think most people do though, right? Anything that makes me go, "What the shit? What did you just say?" I
Yeah.
love all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, man, for sure. Curious. We're curious. We're just like into like, oh, something new. Let's check it out. And let us know if you liked the sort of newsy opening that we did where we kind of grab a couple stories from the fishing world and give it a chat. So please, this was a different episode. We're giving it a go, and I think I tried to make that clear at the beginning. I don't know if I did or not, because I was off to a rough start. We were off to a rough start. We were kind of shaking off our tired that we've been having
Oh,
dealing with
yes,
the sicknesses.
yeah,
Not trying to make excuses, by the way.
right.
Hey, if you're gonna do a
But
job, you
we
got to fucking
do
show up for it.
yes, but we apologize if things didn't go according to plan cuz we are both struggling with things in the personal life and that's just what it is. But
Yep,
we're here.
I think we
I
pulled it off. I think it was
I
good, but give us feedback, right?
yeah, if you're like it was dumb and I hated it, then tell us that. But like not like that cuz it would hurt my feelings. So
That's right. That's right. I will be damaged by that. No, I really, but seriously, we would like to hear it and get the feedback because that's how we're going to make the podcast better. This one was different because it wasn't just two topics. It was sort of like multiple topics inside of the container that is the fishing and random take that the podcast is.
yeah.
So, yeah, we want to hear your feedback for sure. Uh